they've asked me to take a moment to speak as myself in between before we expand into the energy of Isis. And they're asking me to speak to each of you about partnership and divine love. For they are telling me that you are the forerunners, and each in your own way, as messengers on your own journey. You will play it out in your own divine way. But there is an important message for us to remember today. And this is in every relationship, But they ask to speak in that also, to direct to the place where many of you are calling it romance. Because this is one of those spaces that is most difficult in some ways to master for us as humans, and also most enticing and sometimes closest to the remembering of the twin flame. Sometimes is the twin flame. The remembering of the oneness, the enchanted oneness, because it is where we are bringing forth the sacred union of the creation energy through the sexual vibration. And so this creation energy goes into all of our relationships, but those which we have labeled romance have been a struggle for us for a very long time. And so in a very practical way, before they bring Isis in, we are being asked to think about this as ourselves and to explain to you some of the understandings that I have come to on my journey. And one of the things that I often explain to people and teach is that we originally started what is now our marriage or our girlfriend-boyfriend partnership based on a very primitive vibration of survival. And it is a survival formula of male, female, surviving, hunter-gatherer, preparing a home, raising children, and meeting needs to survive as a human race. And that is our formula that we originally created the structure in. And we have evolved over time. We are not in a day-to-day survival struggle, if we choose not to be. And so we have opened our hearts to then explore the emotional realm of love with our partners. But we often forget that we are trying then, so we come to each other in a love of any form, and especially then in the romance, when we touch a life, we then take this and say, how beautiful, I feel these wonderful things, let's make it something solid here on earth. And we take this beautiful love that now we are free to experience, and we place it back into the old structure of survival. And then we wonder why it's not working. We commit to stay together for our entire life, to go unchanged, to meet each other's needs, to hide from each other our fears so that we don't have to focus on anything but how to get through the next day. And so they're saying that it is time for us to be aware of that so that we can begin to change that in our lives. And when we approach our romantic lives with the same vibration and love and unconditionalness that we would place onto our friendships, we can allow them to come alive again, to move, to not be confined by the structures that are no longer serving us. And we have great gratitude for the ego and the primitive self that is still within us, for it brought us here. And we would not be here as a human race ready to ascend into this new human vibration that was shown to us today if we had not stayed on earth long enough to do this. But we give thanks to the primitive ego and we welcome it back into us, and we ask now that we be led by the union of the heart, the mind, and the God center within us. And we especially ask that that be brought into all of our dynamics, all of our relationships, and that we remove or we expand ourselves from the old primitive vibration of survival to embracing each other in love in every moment, to honoring each other, just as we would a friend, to let that flow, come close together when it is meant to, and move beyond. But knowing that that love is continuous, that no matter where the form goes, whether we need to come far away from each other or close together on our journey, and whether we journey close together at all times or we take times that we move into a different form, whatever that love wants to do, we set it free now to do whatever it wants to move wherever it is. And then we also take responsibility for ourselves to meet our own needs. And to do that by allowing ourselves to manifest, with the help of the universe, everything that we need, so that we don't have to be angry at our partner for not providing our needs as it once was set up in the old days. But we can embrace each other, and as each of us intend and move forward, meeting our own needs through the universe, we embrace each other in love and support each other on our journey of evolution, rather than suppressing each other with what we call love, which is rather survival. And so they have asked me to bring that to you, to help you to remember this, because they have said that each of you in your own way are doing this work here on earth and helping yourself move forward to represent this new way of being in order to get to the vibration where we are whole, and for us to love and learn and respect in the world that we desire. We have to have the internal knowing to know what is correct for us, because whatever is correct for us will be correct for everyone around us. So when we know ourselves and we have learned to honor and know ourselves, then we can make decisions that are correct for us without separating ourselves from others. We can continue to love beyond form while we also make decisions that are correct for us. When we have this ability to do this, we will not look for outside laws and structures that do not actually work, as we have seen along the world, but only give the illusion of safety. When we as a human race have integrated all that they have said here today into our own being and know ourselves enough to choose what is correct for ourselves, then there's a guarantee that the world will live in harmony, because whatever is correct for us, no matter who we are, it will be correct for everyone. And some people may say, but what about the dark beings? What about the angry beings? They are all God. We are all God. They are as much a part of you as I am, as you are, as your lover is. And so when each person moves forward and represents this, it is the natural state for it to ripple out to others. And we say to you that each person will also choose what is correct for themselves and therefore for everyone. And this is the new way that the earth will create itself, and we ask you to put your attention onto that as we move forward. And as you feel others feeling the fear of uncertainty of what is ahead, remember that it is excitement. Transform it in your own thought pattern to excitement about what we are about to create, for we are birthing something that is beyond what we have imagined so far. But we are opening our minds and our heart here now to imagine what is possible without separation between heaven and earth. Thank you.